Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be recording the last part of The Shape of Summer. This is going to be chapters 6, 7, and 8. Chapter 6, Not Walking Away. Kirishima didn't hear the footsteps at first, just the sound of the wind through the trees and the steady rush of the river. It was quiet here, far from the mess he'd walked out of. He was seated at the edge of the park, half sunk onto a bench that overlooked the river trail, arms folded, head tipped back like he was trying to disappear into the stars. So when someone stopped in front of him, he blinked up in surprise. Bakugo. His heart kicked hard in his chest. "What are you—" He stopped himself and swallowed. "How did you find me?" Bakugo shoved his hands deeper into his pockets, shoulders tense. "Didn't. Shinso did." Kirishima raised a brow. Bakugo sighed. The words tasted ridiculous coming out. "Kaminari told him where you went. He told me. That's it." Kirishima blinked once, slowly. "So you tracked me down?" Bakugo's jaw worked. "No one twisted my arm. I just wanted to talk." That stopped whatever comeback Kirishima had. His brows furrowed. Cautious, but not cold. He nodded towards the empty space beside him. "Then sit." Bakugo hesitated for just a moment longer, then sat, not too close, but not as far as he might have even a day ago. The silence stretched, thick and uncomfortable. Neither of them quite knew where to start. Finally, Kirishima said, "I meant what I said. I'm not going to keep pretending it didn't matter." Bakugo didn't look at him. "You're kind of hard to walk away from, you know that?" That pulled a soft breath from Kirishima, more surprised than smug. "Funny," he said. "I was about to say the same thing." They sat in silence a beat longer, the words hanging between him like a thread pulled tight. Bakugo didn't respond at first, just clenched his jaw, eyes on the water. Then finally, his voice came, low, rough, like it had scraped against too many unsaid things. "You walk around like none of it mattered," he said. "Like those few days didn't flip me inside out." Kirishima's breath caught. "I don't think I've gone a day without thinking about it." Bakugo's hands curled into fists in his lap. "Then why? Why the hell are you acting like it didn't mess with you? You bounced back like it was nothing." "I didn't bounce back. I didn't know if I was allowed to show it," Kirishima said, turning towards him. "I didn't want to push. You've been pretending it didn't happen." Bakugo still wouldn't meet his eyes. "Then why the hell didn't you say anything?" Kirishima shook his head, slow and sure. "I tried. You just weren't ready to hear it." "Because that's what I told myself it had to be." Bakugo curled his hands into fists in his laps. "A couple of days. Temporary. Easy to walk away from." Kirishima waited, but said nothing, let him get there on his own. Bakugo's shoulders rose and fell with sharp breath. "And now I work with you, and you smile at me like the sun, and I can't fucking breathe." Kirishima's heart hammered in his chest. He shifted just a little closer, not touching, but enough that Bakugo would feel it. "Then breathe," he whispered. "I'm not asking you to have it all figured out. Just don't walk away this time." Bakugo looked at him then, really looked, and in that moment, something inside of him gave way. It didn't shatter, just softened. He leaned in slowly, like he still didn't trust the ground beneath him, but Kirishima didn't move. And then Bakugo kissed him. It wasn't angry or desperate or full of noise. It was quiet and familiar, something they'd already lived in once, and were only now allowing themselves to return to. When they pulled apart, Kirishima's eyes were wide, searching his face. Bakugo didn't back away. "So, what now?" he asked quietly. Kirishima smiled a soft smile. "Now we talk about it, like adults. Tomorrow, maybe with coffee?" Bakugo gave a tiny huff of disbelief that might have been a laugh. "Yeah, okay." Then they sat in silence again, but this time it felt different, lighter. Not fixed, no longer running. After a while, Bakugo's voice came quieter than before. Every time I see you like this, he said, voice rough with honesty, it makes it harder to pretend that I don't want more. Kirishima turned, gaze steady. You don't have to pretend. Bakugo's jaw clenched. He didn't meet his eyes. You deserve someone who doesn't shut down the second things feel real. Kirishima nudged his knee gently against Bakugo's. Maybe, but I've never wanted someone perfect. I wanted you, and I still do. That broke something loose in Bakugo's chest. Not everything, but enough. He exhaled slowly, then nodded just once. Tomorrow, then. Kirishima smiled. Tomorrow. Chapter 7. Tomorrow, with coffee. The cafe was still mostly dark. The soft hum of the espresso machine, the only sound that filled the quiet morning air. The faint scent of freshly ground beans lingered, comforting in its familiarity. Bakugo slipped inside, shoulders still tense, but heart already lighter than it had been in days. Kirishima was leaning against the counter, arms crossed loosely, a steaming cup of coffee cradled in his hands. His eyes were fixed on the door, as if waiting for something or someone. Bakugo slid onto the bar stool beside him, careful to keep the silence gentle rather than awkward. For a moment, all that existed between them was the soft clink of ceramic and the occasional hiss of the espresso machine. Kirishima finally broke the silence, voice low and rough, but steady. You came. Bakugo rubbed the back of his neck, eyes sharp. Yeah, we need to figure this out, whatever this is. Kirishima's lip twitched, almost a smile. He shifted his gaze, eyes meeting Bakugo's, for just a moment before flicking away. There was a beat, a charged pause, where all things left unsaid danced between them. Bakugo's voice came quieter this time. I'm scared, us. I don't want to screw it up again. Kirishima reached out, fingers brushing Bakugo's hand resting on the counter. We're not perfect. We both messed up, but we're trying, and that's what counts. Bakugo's jaw loosened, as if the weight in his chest was easing. Yeah, I want to try. They talked then about what they wanted, what scared them, what they hoped for, the easy moments, the rough patches, the kind of love that isn't perfect but real. Coffee cooled, forgotten, warmth spreading from the connection they were finally nurturing. The door chimed as Kaminari and Shinso strolled in, then stopped dead. At the far end of the shop, Bakugo and Kirishima were kissing like no one else existed. Hands in hair, body pulled close, the kind of kiss that didn't start with heat, but with gravity, slow, deliberate, and years overdue. They didn't even flinch at the sound of the bell, didn't notice anything at all. Kaminari blinked, wide-eyed. He grinned like he'd just solved a mystery. He elbowed Shinso. Okay, now I get it. Shinso didn't even look surprised. Took you long enough. Kaminari threw his arms up and yelled, Bro, did you seduce my friend and not tell me? Bakugo flipped him off without even breaking the kiss. Kirishima pulled back just enough to laugh against Bakugo's mouth. Their foreheads touched. Bakugo grumbled, You're the one who wanted to do this in public. Kirishima squeezed his hand. Yeah, and I regret nothing. Chapter 8. Epilogue. 1 year later. The beach was quieter this time. Off-season. The wind still carried a bite. The fire still crackled low against the backdrop of crashing waves. But the cold didn't matter. Not now. Not when they were here again, side by side, with the stars above and their pasts behind them. Bakugo sat close enough to feel the heat of Kirishima's arm against his. No one else around. Just the two of them, and the ocean, and the sky. It felt like a memory replaying in real time, only now it wasn't unfinished. Kirishima glanced over at him, a smile tugging at the corners of his mouth. Not nervous, just sure. The first time we were here, he said quietly, I didn't know if I'd ever see you again. Bakugo looked up, meeting his eyes. But now I do, Kirishima continued. I know you, and I know us. He shifted slightly, reaching into his jacket pocket. Bakugo's breath caught, more instinct than surprise. And yeah, maybe it's crazy. Maybe we fight too much. Maybe we're too stubborn for our own good. But we work. And somehow we found our way back to each other. He got down on one knee, steady and certain. We didn't share our last names back then, he said, smile soft and unwavering. But now I'd like us to share the same one. A pause. A beat. Katsuki, Kirishima said, voice low and unshakable. Will you marry me? The fire popped. The waves kept whispering. Bakugo stared at him, everything in him still and loud at once. And then, without a word, he leaned forward, grabbed the front of Kirishima's jacket, and kissed him, slow and certain. And when he pulled back, he didn't let go. Yeah, he said, voice a little rough. Yeah, I will. They didn't need anything else. No crowd, no applause. Just firelight, old stars, and the promise they'd finally spoken out loud. All right, friends, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the ending of this one. When I wrote this story, I put all sorts of notes in there, like hooray for speaking like adults, because we did have some miscommunications, but they talked it out and, they resolved their problems. So thank you so much. If you'd like to be notified about any other times I post more podfics on the channel, think about subscribing and liking the video so it gets out there to others. And I appreciate you guys listening. I'll see you guys next time.